you guys don't mind, I'm going to go to the front here, just because for me to be able to get from where I just sat to up here means a lot more to me than I can convey in words. Back on September 23rd, 2005, I was in an armored personnel carrier, so it was a little small tank. We rode over an anti-tank mine, and that anti-tank mine flipped our tank over. It killed 2 of my soldiers, which I actually had bracelets made in their honor, and I suffered bilateral fractures to my right tibia and fibula, a shattered left tibia, both of my heel and ankle bones were shattered, and I had a dislocated right hip. I've had 24 surgeries to date. Now, the doctor said, I want to say the first week that I got to Brooke Army Medical Center down in San Antonio, that walking would be difficult, running was pretty much out of the question, and the one thing that I loved most, the one thing that I really just took my mind and put it in a different place was the game of baseball / softball. So to not be able to play the game that I love the most was very, very hurtful to me. And the doctor saying that was out of the question. Well, from that moment to present moment, I've done more in probably the last 6.5 years, almost 7 years, than I did the first 31 years of my life. And the reason is because of people like Nico. It's because of individuals like yourselves that support organizations like the Challenge Athletes Foundation. It's like Chris. It's like the soldier that was dead, pronounced dead, and now look at what he's doing. But most importantly, it's because of family, for me at least. And my wife is here along with my son, and a little bit about these two. So we just moved here from Chicago, okay? We left Chicago, as a matter of fact, yes. So a week ago today, we were on the road driving here, all right? Just to give you a little bit of an idea of how these last 7 days have been for us. And my wife and I drove here, you know, and with no, and you know, and I can say this now. We had a place to stay when we were about to leave Chicago, and things fell through. So as we were en route, we were homeless, okay? And to be able to have support of someone like her, for, you know, my son, my 12-year-old son, to not worry about what was going to happen once we got to San Diego. It's that type of support that pushes me, or people like me that need that extra oomph to get to, you know, from point A to point B, or from point B all the way to point Z. And what happens is, you know, sports helps out tremendously. I will not paint a picture that it does not, because there are some athletes, or I should say there's some soldiers, some airmen, some Marines, some sailors that need those things like sports that pushes them over the top. And because of your contributions, because of your volunteering, and because of the things that you do, it helps us get to that level. I will tell you, I'm an avid golfer now, you know, so I hope to see you guys at your golf event. So if whoever can make that happen, I want to be there. You know, now that, you raising your hand, okay, I'll make sure I come see you after this luncheon. But, you know, I never in a million years, if you'd have told me 10 years ago, hey, Dan, you know, you'll be a triathlete. First of all, no, because 1, I don't swim. 2, I don't run. 3, I don't bike. So I guess that kind of takes me out of the triathlete status. Well, now I swim, now I run, and now I bike. So that's something I wouldn't have done prior to getting injured. I still play baseball. I still play softball. Now I golf. I didn't even like the game of golf prior to even meeting my wife 3 years ago. Now I'm itching. My clubs are still en route. They won't get here until Wednesday. And I already told my wife, I said, we need to hurry up and get, our driver's license so we can get the identification card so we can be at Torrey Pines before the weekend is out. So $35 worth card, you can't beat that. But it's those types of things that allows for people like myself to be able to see the next day as not so much a challenge, but we look forward to tomorrow, and we find ourselves needing that something. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, for those people that are not into sports, it's family, it's friends, it's literally people like yourselves that say, hey, listen, I can't do much. I can't sit here and sign a blank check and give it to you and tell you to have a great life. I can't do certain things, but what I can do is extend my hand of thanks and of gratitude. I can at least take you to someone who can help you. I appreciate seeing Bill Walton here. He's an NBA Hall of Famer, and he takes the time out of his day and the time out of his life to support organizations like the Challenge Athletes Foundation. He supports these athletes that are out there trying to push themselves. And they're not all veterans. They're not all wounded veterans. And some of the veterans that you'll run across, there's nothing wrong with them physically. But mentally, they're in such a bad place. And to be able to know that they have that support factor, they have that support system in friends, family, and folks like yourselves really, really makes a difference.